Hey, greetings everybody. Greetings everybody. This is Subira Folame, and I'm here with my esteemed colleague, Mr. ShakaGuru. Hey, Shaka,
Yes,
how you doing this morning?
doing great. How are you doing?
I am excellent, brother. I'm excellent.
Fantastic.
So folks, listen, we have a wonderful um journey that we'd like to take you on. Shaka and myself are going to be speaking here. What do we say, Shaka? Every Friday.
Every Friday.
Every Friday, 10 o'clock. We will be here, and we're going to basically start our show with just sharing our observations, our experiences that we're having as student diviners at the International Indigenous Knowledge and Development Society, IIKDS. And we're being trained by Chief Amachi Apeta Buaru. I'm going to have you say that also, Shaka. I'm not the only one going to look tongue twisted here. But we want to just come every week and we want to just share with you, to kind of do some demystification and give you guys some insights into this whole realm, this world of indigenous African spiritual practice. So that's my piece. Shaka, you want to just kind of share, from your perspective, uh, what we're going to be talking about as well.
Sure. Well, a part of the idea for the show was, we talk often, obviously,
Almost daily, right?
at this point. So, we have some great conversations. And some of the conversations we thought would be great if, we could include other people, number one, but also kind of get it on tape because we pretty much cover a large kind of, I would say a large category within the spiritual, African spirituality category, so to speak. So it'd be good to get that on tape and then also have other people kind of chime in and participate as well. So
yeah, I see we have 2 viewers. Yeah, we got 2 viewers. So hey, thank you guys for joining us. We're going to be here every single Friday. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to be playing with this other software that I have, Shaka, so that we can actually bring viewers on to ask questions, just to kind of, other than just having a static rolling chat where we could actually bring people, boom, live onto the platform with us and have some conversation.
fantastic.
Yeah. So I know to begin, Shaka, we said what we were going to do was just kind of tell our story, tell how we kind of got to this point, and that's kind of how we were going to start off this broadcast. So since you already have the floor, please, if you don't mind, start by just kind of telling your story.
Well, fantastic. Okay. I kind of stumbled into all of this, obviously. I guess maybe not. Maybe not. It almost seems like I've been led over, the last 10, 15 years. Started in the very beginning, I think in college, was more into the historical presence of Black people in, throughout the world, in America, etc. And that kind of always moved towards maybe spirituality. I always kind of went, in that direction. Because after a while, history gets old. It's something that you can't change, just facts.
Right.
So then I went to college. I ended up being, even as an African American, I was the president of the African Student Association. I was elected by an African student body.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which was something that was kind of special for me. And then after that, I decided that I wanted more experiences in Africa. I wanted to kind of get my birthright back. So I ended up going to Senegal. I spent 3 years there in the Peace Corps. Learned an indigenous language called Wolof. I learned French. Saw a number of things because I traveled all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Burkina Faso, Mali, Ghana, and saw a lot of things. Saw a lot of things, a lot of amazing things. But you know, again, kind of at that point, I was really open-minded. I wasn't really participating one way or the other in anything at that point. I was more on the philosophical bent or side of things.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually, you know, you come back to the States, and I came back to the States, you know, and spent some time here, and then somehow got involved in, you know, continued to read, continued to do certain things, and everything kept coming back to that sort of, again, that African worldview for me. It kind of started the whole thing, but also it ended up that underneath everything, there was this kind of like this, you know, that African undercurrent. So, you know, fast forward a little bit further, I'm participating in all kinds of other kind of Western paradigms with regards to the occult or esotericism. And eventually I bump into Chief. I mean, I actually ran into his work maybe about 2 years ago. There's another gentleman on Facebook who introduced me to him, his work. And then I just didn't pay much attention to it. And then all of a sudden, you know, he puts up something. I said, you know, let me check out, let me see if I can find a website. Because I think before I couldn't find a website. And I look for a website, find a website, and, you know, I take a course. And so I've been hooked ever since. I've gone through several courses with him. And it is definitely next level, I think. Definitely next level. It is beyond the philosophical kind of thing that normally folks get involved in. You know, if you go on Facebook right now, there are people putting up, you know, pentagrams and 6-pointed stars and saying the mother and father mixed together on earth to create the child. And, you know, it's not really operative, as would say. So that's how I got in. How about you?
Well, you know, I actually had a very Christian background. So I come from a Pentecostal family. You know, my grandparents, great grandparents, everybody was in the Pentecostal religion. And I went to college, same thing. And I was, you know, for me, college was about who am I? I went there to learn, but what I realized, I was going there to learn about me, and I didn't find myself. No matter what, I was in the Africana Studies department. We learned about Black men. I went to the Women's Studies department, learned about white women. Went to the psychology department, ran rats. Went to the history department, learned about white men. And I was like, can a sister get some love up in here? Black women were nowhere to be found. We were the subtext of all these other larger conversations. So I heard about Iyanla Vanzant. I think somebody gave me a book or something like that. This was, you know, back in the 90s, late 80s. So I started reading a lot of Iyanla Vanzant's work, and ended up, you know, fast forward 10, 15 years later, I ended up training with her at her institute, Intervisions Institute for Spiritual Development. Spent 4 years under her tutelage, which was life transforming. Upon finishing that course of study, I was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. And that took me down a whole other, the rabbit hole took a twist and a turn and upside down. And so I've always been a person who has been a seeker. I've always had this thirst for getting closer to the divine, or trying to understand myself through this, you know, the reflection of the divine in the world around me. And for me, what I was receiving through my Pentecostal background, just, it wasn't enough. It didn't answer the questions that I had. It didn't, you know, I guess I had learned to think and analyze, and read text, and it just wasn't adding up
Right.
for me. So I went down this whole metaphysical road. And even that, even that journey, I was not reflected. I was studying people like Ernest Holmes and all of these early pioneers of metaphysics within the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And my spirit was like, this is great, but it ain't it. Keep going. Keep going.
Right.
So I always say about myself that I follow the energy. And when the energy turns left, I go left. I'm a martial artist. So I follow the energy. Wherever it goes, it's like, okay, it's time to go in a different direction. So that's what was happening. I would stay in a course of study until energy said time to go a different way. The way I found IIKDS and Chief Amachi, I was at a friend's birthday party, which I almost didn't go to.
Mm.
And I ran into a really good friend who she and I both went through Iyanla Van Zant's training, Intervisions. She completed a few years after me, maybe 1 or 2 years after me, but we remained friends.
Mm-hmm.
Hadn't seen her in maybe a year, maybe 2. We both end up at this party earlier this year, 2015. And, we were just doing the, hey girl, what's up? What you been doing? Da-da-da-da-da kind of conversation. And she said the name Chief Amachi. And when she did, like literally, viscerally, something in me lit up.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that is my symbol to myself. This is a new path just opened up. You got to go see what this is.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, send me the link. I'm interested in what you're talking about. Let me see what this is all about. And I went to his blog talk. I listened to just about his entire library, went to his website, and my spirit was like, this is the next stop on the journey.
Mm.
And so, I ended up taking divination, the first level of the divination class, which is how I met you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And, we've taken another class since then, the Genie Doll class.
Mm-hmm.
And now we are on the second level of the divination class.
That's right.
So that's how we got here.
Yes.
That's where we come from.
There you go.
Yeah, so it's been extremely interesting. I guess now that people kind of have a little bit of background, the 2 classes that we've taken, I wanted to just touch on in these few minutes. We're only going to talk just a few more minutes because I know you've got something else to do here in a little bit. So I want to wind it up, but I want to let people know on this show, if you could sum up our intention. We talked a little bit about that yesterday, and I want us both to kind of just, in our own words, talk about our intentions for being here moving forward. Now people know where we come from,
Mm-hmm.
where we intend to take them as a collective, you and me, and hopefully other students that are in our class will want to join us on the show and chime in.
Exactly.
But what you and I have been talking about, where we want to take the folks.
Well, like I said, I think a part of it is sort of like, we have these amazing conversations, but at the same time, we want people to understand, like you said, we want to demystify African spirituality. We want to talk about the amazing experiences we are having, and the connections that we are making and building with matter and spirit. With our environment and with other people. So those are some of the things that I think we've gotten out of it, and we'd like to pass it along. And just anybody who's interested in collecting that particular type of data or information, and maybe even those who are interested in going beyond that. This is almost, in a sense, a way of kind of nurturing a specific idea, nurturing our environment, and getting participation over feedback and reflecting on our experiences.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that's really important, is that feedback piece.
Mm-hmm.
Because our environment is always talking to us.
That's right.
You know, it's always giving us feedback, and should you go left, should you go right? So, you know, I know when I started down this journey, oh gosh, it's been 25 plus years. I'm not saying how old I am, but no. I was looking for people that would be willing to share their information.
Uh-huh.
And I knew that the world we live in was much more than what these senses were telling me.
Right.
I knew that because I was able to do things without knowing how I was doing them. And so I want to share that information. I want to share what I'm learning. I want to share, you know, we do a lot of works with dreams.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times, our spirits, guides, spirits, you know, gods of our ancestors and our ancestors
Mm-hmm.
are speaking to us, working with us through dreams.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I've learned from being here at IKDS is that a whole different way to engage with dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And what is dream? What is a dream state? When are you in a dream state? You know, we had that conversation yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so I want to kind of unpack what it is to dream and learn to kind of engage. I don't even want to say interpret, but engage with that dream state and with our ancestors and gods and spirits in that realm to help us as we're navigating in this particular plane of existence.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to do that. You know, what we can share about purification processes, talk a bit about, you know, ritual from an Indigenous African perspective, you know, and give some history. Hopefully Chief can come on and join us from time to time when he's not busy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we can maybe have some conversation around history and around Ghana, the northern regions of Ghana, Burkina Faso, and just really unpacking this stuff and bringing it down to a level where, you know, it's while it is amazing, once you understand that it's a science and that we are actually scientists learning to, I'm going to quote you here, Shaka, reorganizing matter.
Mm-hmm.
That we can go into a laboratory right here in our home or out in the woods or at the ocean, and we can reorganize matter to have situations bend to our intention.
Mm-hmm.
That's an amazing and powerful reality.
Mm-hmm.
And experience. And so we're going to be basically sharing our journey as we are practitioners, student scientists, learning to have a relationship with nature and other beings, both seen and unseen.
Exactly.
Yeah. So great. Well, this was a great first show, first time out the gate for us. Shaka, I want to thank you for just being so flexible and willing to come on. I want to thank the people who are watching live and the people who are going to watch us on the replay. And we just want to invite you to come back. And if you can be with us next Friday at, is it going to be 10 o'clock, Shaka, you think?
Let's do 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. Okay.
No.
Y'all heard it here live.
9 o'clock, yo.
Friday mornings, 9 o'clock, we will be ready to go live and we'll have some good conversations for you.
That's right. It was a pleasure.
Absolutely a pleasure. All right, folks, thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you back here next Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
All right, y'all.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, Subira.
Bye-bye, Shaka.